Okay, so most of you know that I'm Mark Devine and I'm founder of SEALFit, and more recently the Unbeatable Mind training program, which is really the underlying kind of philosophy and training practices for the soft side of what we do in SEALFit, which is the warrior practices for developing mental toughness, developing awareness, developing presence, developing warrior disciplines, attitude, winning attitude, non-quitting spirit. All of these really cool things which you don't necessarily get just by working out, right? And so yes, we work out really hard, but we look at the physical training at SEALFit really as a bridge to penetrate the soft inner core of our beings. Does that make sense? We don't necessarily look at it as a way to just to kind of dominate the field and be the strongest, toughest, fastest, even though that's pretty cool too. I don't have any problem with that as long as our ego doesn't get too much in the way. So SEALFit is about training for life, training to operate at a very high level for the rest of your life, regardless of where you start. And we have people in the Unbeatable Mind program with all types of physical backgrounds who are starting to train using the warrior disciplines and then getting into CrossFit and starting to, find a whole new life that way. So that's really cool to me, because CrossFit, typically attracts, really aggressive, fit young people who then become more fit and more aggressive. Am I right? And then something happens in CrossFit too, where they say, "Wow, there's something, something's changing in me. Is it the community, or what is it that I feel different, right? I feel more aware. I feel better about myself." And all of a sudden, people are starting to look over the fence and saying, how do I develop myself mentally and spiritually, right? And I use that term very, very carefully. I just mean warrior spirit, right? I'm not treading on anyone's belief systems here, but we have a spiritual life, right? And we've got to learn how to cultivate that, because it's a really important part of us. And warriors have understood this for millennia. And warriors, essentially have developed very, very rich practices around cultivating their mind and their spirit, as well as the body, because the body was the easy part for them. What about that other stuff? Not so easy. Not so easy to discipline yourself, not so easy to control the mind, so you had the space, the mental space to do it. Who's with me on that? Controlling the mind is difficult, isn't it? It's probably the hardest thing we can do. A lot harder to sit in meditation than it is to crank out a CrossFit WOD. So we're going to learn today some practices and some tools and some skills and some ideas that'll make it easier and give us a roadmap